here. Right, I think that worked. So, parties. Um, I think one of the things that is unique actually about Startup Grind is the fact that we do become a hub for the community. We have this opportunity to kind of be what I like to call Switzerland. I mean, I don't know about the cities that you guys have. Maybe you'll relate, maybe you won't, but it's really easy for different factions to kind of form within a city where you have different co-working spaces or different players that are all supporting the same cause, doing it from slightly different angles. It's easy for them to kind of silo up and be proud of what they've created and have a very strong culture within themselves, and then look outside and be like, wait, who's that? Who's that? And are they a threat, right? So it's easy for kind of pockets to form within a city when it comes to all of those that are a part of the local startup ecosystem. As Startup Grind, we have this really cool opportunity to come in and be that kind of force that brings them all together. If we align our events very directly with one co-working space every single month, then that can make it a little harder for us, but there are advantages to doing that as well. So it's a 50-50 on that. But as a part of this kind of glue that keeps the whole community together and is that space where everyone can go and everyone can show up and where everyone can be friends, our parties are really a unique kind of experience that really adds to the ecosystem. A little bit of history on it. We didn't always do parties. I mean, we've always done fireside chats, so those are clearly, of course, the core of what we do at Startup Grind. But it was a few years in that we noticed that our December events and then one of our summer in the Northern Hemisphere type events in June, July, or August would always really kind of dip in attendance because people are just not as much, I guess you could say, in the mood for business. So we see them kind of paying a little less attention to some of those things that are more productive. But if you think about it, they definitely are in the mood to be social and to party. That's a lot of what happens in December, right? And they're in the mood to kind of relax and take a break in the summer. And so in getting in line with that natural rhythm and changing our events up in those two parts of the year, mid-year and end of year, we were able to convert it to where instead of having our lowest attended month of the year, we tend to now have our highest attended through parties that we throw for our community. So it's worked out really well, and it's a really good kind of study on how to respond to the needs of your customer, if you will. And the parties do a few different things for us. I'm going to share my screen here so that we can have the information, give you a chance to see always where all this information comes from. So here on the help.startupgrind.com, we have some good information about parties. It's in this second category called event types, and down under here, under the section called parties, you'll see some of this information that we're going to talk about. There's an article a little bit about why to host parties, and that kind of talks a little bit about what I just said. And there's a couple examples of some videos and some wording that some of the chapters have used, so that you can use to inspire you. This one is kind of funny. It's last year's in Cape Town. They focused on it being an end-of-the-year bonus and said, we can't give you a 13th check, but we can give you a free ticket to Startup Grind end-of-the-year party. So the parties are meant to be free, and that was their fun little promotion that they used. The party format is it's a free event. This is actually a picture from my summer party a couple years ago in Phoenix. And it's an interesting thing, when the parties really can take a lot of different shapes. At the core of it, we really want to create an environment where people have a low barrier to entry, can show up and become a part of something that is kind of a chance for them to get to know each other better. So that's at the core of it. As far as how that takes shape, there are several things that can happen. It can be as simple and as inexpensive as picking a hotel, bar by a pool, or a brewery or a restaurant with a nice area or something, and saying, hey, on this 1 weeknight, working it out in advance, that your people can show up during these 3 hours and they will get access to happy hour pricing for their drinks during that time. Like, that's basically no cost for you in most situations if you negotiate well enough. Sometimes restaurants try and charge for that offer, but that can be the party, and you pick that time, you pick that place, everyone shows up, and it's just a big mixer, like a giant happy hour. Or it can be much more elaborate than that. You can have a ballroom reserved, you can have a DJ, you can have a toy drive, you can have a summer picnic that's out on the lawn with lawn games and all kinds of crazy fun. So there's really a wide band of what you can do for your party. It's up to you, it's up to your budget, it's up to what you think that your city can would be interested in and would work with. So when it comes to keeping the parties free, obviously we depend on our sponsors and our ticket sales that we have through the other events all throughout the year to make that possible. But again, there are ways to throw kind of a more simple version of a party that is pretty easy to have almost pretty much no cost on, if that's the basic of what you can pull together. So anything in that band is fine, with the heart of it really being that chance for everyone to come together. And sometimes the way that I would frame it up, as you see here in Phoenix, we were able to, I mean, my average event would have about 75 people there. But this one, for example, had about 1,000 people, and that's not normal. So don't anticipate that. I don't know if we just really like to party in Phoenix or what, but what is good about it is that I would always tell them, you know, a lot of in corporate settings, you're going to find the big holiday celebration at the end of the year, or a big end of the year celebration for all of our hard work. You're also going to find that summer party where you have a chance to get together and take a little break and be social and do something fun. And in a startup, we don't really have the bandwidth or the budget to pull that together and pull that off. So as Startup Grind, we pull that off for all of them to come together with their teams to be able to celebrate like that. So the way that I would roll it out in my city was simply, you know, this is a chance for, we will help you. We will host your holiday party. We will host your company picnic type of a thing. And so that was a chance where then they would bring their teams and they would all come together as a bunch of startups, again, with that community feeling, to celebrate together. So it was our chance to get together and just see, you know, what everyone had worked on throughout the year and just really catch up with each other. So this back on the knowledge base here where I'm sharing now, as you see, you know, the format is, like I said, it feels like a big happy hour. You can do it simply or you can do it complicated, whatever you want and whatever you want to throw. We do always aim to have them free, and but we do always still ask that they RSVP in our tool, because that helps you, if you are providing food, to be able to have an idea of how many people are coming. Although, as one of you mentioned earlier, that RSVP doesn't totally tell us the story, but it gives us something to work with. So, and again, they can become that really central event of your startup community. So it's not meant to be necessarily a fireside chat, although I have seen a couple here and there where they will throw in a fireside chat, but it is meant to be a really kind of encompassing opportunity for your community to get together twice a year. So the value that the parties bring, it's worth thinking a little bit about this just to look at the strategy behind it. The new faces. You know, like I said, a lot of the people that wouldn't necessarily come to each of my Startup Grind events every month are going to show up to the party because they can just drop in for a few minutes and catch up with people. There's no real, you know, full evening commitment type of a thing. And so it gives you a chance to, as it says on the bottom one there, boost your email list for the rest of the year. All of those people are going to be added to your newsletter. And so then as you begin to promote your event throughout the rest of the year, you have a much more powerful marketing engine. It's also an easy sell for sponsors. It's easy for them to kind of get behind or understand what that is. Some people will print a big step and repeat banner to have at the entrance with the sponsor logo on it and things like that. It's also, and I mean, even if you're working on getting sponsors and you're having trouble getting them on that monthly commitment, having them sponsor just the party to kind of start getting the essence of what it's like to partner with you and to be a part of your events and to be showcased like that is a nice little kind of in the door to be able to start working with a sponsor. And it is a great way to partner with other players in your ecosystem. So a lot of different partners in your area are going to host some kind of an event in December. And if you build strong relationships and really look for those win-win opportunities with those other partners, then you can often see a few partners kind of collapse all into one party. And as long as we ticket it under Startup Grind, we have no problem showcasing that there are a lot of partners. And so that can become, again, even more of a central experience for your community. So that's kind of the basics I wanted to cover on kind of what it means to throw a party, why we throw parties, kind of what a party looks like, how to put it together, and some of the benefits of doing a party. So, but again, I've talked to directors in several areas. A lot of my experience comes from the ones that I did. So I'm really excited to hear from Lindsay a little bit more about what you guys have done in Silicon Valley for your parties. And then Chris will follow up with information from your party from this past summer. So, Lindsay.
Oh yeah, those are all great things that we do here as well. I would say one thing that we do year over year with our holiday parties and summer parties is partner up with people who are who we work with regularly for our local events. For instance, the past few years we've partnered up with Galvanize, where we now kind of work out of their office space, but they provide the space and we open up the free event for all members of our community and then all members of their community. So in an effort to just kind of make it bigger than what maybe we would have it be if it was just us. And then on that, we kind of pool resources where we'll pay for certain things, they'll pay for certain things, and then it's just kind of great for both parties. And then, free tickets always for those. And we try to do some fun marketing around it in our newsletters in advance, just around the theme of entrepreneurs don't throw parties for themselves, so we're throwing one for you. We always bring in a DJ and get a bartender and try to do a few fun things and also use it as an opportunity to bring in some sponsors that maybe aren't a great fit for our other events, but in this type of setting, they make more sense and they want to connect with people in a casual way. And there's more people than the usual local events. So for instance, we had Zola, which is a coconut water and energy drink company. They have sponsored a few of our larger events like the summer party, and they'll be back for our holiday party again. But they set up this really cute, cool booth and like they call it a fueling station in the corner of wherever we host, which is like an engaging way to reach this group of people that's not just a 6-foot table. They kind of make it like loungy and fun and different from what you usually see. So I would say we've had a whole range of different companies sponsor the parties that maybe aren't a great fit. So I would say if there are businesses that are local, that are new, that want brand awareness or have a fun product that they want to share, it's a great time to reach out to them about an opportunity where people are just kind of mingling in a party setting. But those are the main things that we try to really promote it across all of our channels as well. So just like any other event where there's a speaker, but just again trying to be creative to get people there to just have a fun night. So that always seems to work pretty well.
Perfect. Thanks, Lindsay. Yeah, and you know what, I think one of the things you mentioned there is really interesting, that you do sometimes get a different type of sponsor for the parties too. And I found over the years that at the $250 level, I could get almost anybody to sponsor for a one-time thing. And so oftentimes I would rely on some of our local startups, our more successful startups that are kind of the mentors and the give back startups in the community, or a local, not investor group, but a couple of our key influencers that are also investors. When we needed to round up, say, $1,000 so that everybody could have their first drink on the house, then we would turn and we would just ask, hey, can we get 4 people to give us $250? And it would always work out. And so that number is a magical thing, and it works out really well. But like you said, they're not people that are going to sponsor every time, but they can help make that happen. And that one that I showed the picture of for Phoenix, that one actually cost us $10,000 to put on. But we had to pay for a giant venue. We did 2 drinks for everybody. We had, paid for the parking, paid for all kinds of insurance, and did it up, officially and whatnot. And so, but we also, had the mayor come and had some fun little extra things happening there too. So, okay, Chris, how about you? Go ahead and unmute yourself. I'll unmute you. There you go.
Well, I can share with you the one party that we've had, and that was July. And we actually created a format that seems to be very popular, and that is, it's not only was it a party, but it's also what we have now come to call our startup showcase. And we got everybody together at a local well-known restaurant who was incredibly generous with their, time and their food. And we may not do it again at the same restaurant, or we'll do it someplace where there's less traffic and congestion. But what we did is we had the first basically hour and a half or so, 2 hours, where it was a party. But we had selected 4 young local startups to come in and participate in our startup showcase, which meant that during that preliminary hour and a half or so, they were responsible for going around and interacting with as many of the attendees as they possibly could, selling themselves and their company to the attendees, so that the attendees during our speed pitch competition would invest a fake $100 bill into their company. And what we did is we set it up so that we gave the young startups a chance to practice their interpersonal communication skills, one-on-one, small group interaction, that type of thing. That nobody was allowed to bring any printed materials. There were no dreaded PowerPoints of any kind. They had to create their own unique little handheld props and visual aids. And then at the end of that hour and a half or so, we held our speed pitch, and every startup got a chance to get up and do a 3-minute verbal summary only of their company and why people should invest in them. And then the audience voted, and what we did is we had prize sponsors. We didn't give any money away, and that's not the purpose of this particular startup showcase. But as an example, the first prize was a free 25-point assessment for the winning startup to go through the application and due diligence process to be able to pitch to the major local Mid-Atlantic Angels organization. The second prize was 5 hours worth of consulting with a new digital media startup in helping crafting social media and marketing strategy. The third prize was a 2-hour consultation with an outsourced HR human capital firm.
Very good.
So anyway, I'm going on and on. It was a great success. As a matter of fact, it was so successful that this coming Monday night we're doing our second startup showcase. So
sure. And just because I know people would ask, like, we are always very clear that we don't do pitch events. We don't do that type of thing under Startup Grind. If you want to build out an event series like that we do regularly, then you get to do that under a different brand, even your own personal brand, to contribute to your ecosystem. Right. But during our parties, sometimes it's okay to, create a little method by which you can have some startups get a shout out, or, some kind of little competition or something like that within the parties, there's a little bit of room for that. And of course, within the monthly events, there's room to have some kind of little way for startups to give a shout out or things like that. So, but that's cool. It's neat that you were able to create those connections and those opportunities for your community to come together. One of the things I want to show you too, there's a couple more here on the screen. I'm going to switch back to that. This is actually from, you guys see this? Yeah, it should be showing. So in Phoenix in the summertime, it's really, really, really hot. And so I wanted to do an outdoor picnic, but we couldn't do that because it was so hot. So what you see here is about half of an indoor football field that one of our top startups in town has. And I worked with them to put this on, and there are little yard games. As you can see in the kind of bottom right, there's what we call bags, or I don't know, people call it different things. And I had these little boards printed for my sponsors, and the sponsors were very involved. There was a competition that they got to judge as far as the yard games and whatnot. And so this was actually a really successful kind of summer picnic type event that I did one year as well. So there's a lot of ways you can do it, and there's a lot of fun things to do. And we did a little bit of a shout out type thing for them as well. But these went over really well. And my sponsors loved these. They got to take these boards home back to their office and be able to have those as well. And they just were a couple $100s to put together. So, all right. So the last piece of this I want to go over is back here on the knowledge base. If you go down to marketing, or you can search the word art assets, you'll find this little set here where there's the links to all the Startup Grind graphics and art assets. And I just want to draw attention to the fact that right now we have our summer and winter party graphics right here. So if you click on this, you will see there are some graphics that you can use for like a winter party or a summer party. But I did hear that we are going to be able to soon release, there we go, there's that kind of winter party assets, some that are a little, possibly, I think they're going to be a little more holiday themed, I'm not sure, but some new art assets for the parties for December as well. Although unfortunately they won't come out for a couple of weeks. I just was checking on it yesterday because I know we already have about 10 parties already posted around the world, so we want to get them as soon as possible. But know that we will have special art assets available, and we've gotten pretty darn good at this art assets thing lately, where we give you everything you need for every social media channel if you want to use it, in all kinds of sizes and shapes and all that good stuff. So let's stop there. And does anyone have questions or thoughts about parties? Let's start with that topic, and then we'll go to other topics after. Oh, hey, G just joined us. Hey, hi, G.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, G.
So just adding to that thing, I'm actually busy doing it right now. I'm just going to add some the SG200 art assets to that link.
Oh, I already did like an hour ago, my friend. You can reword it, but they're on there. So I wanted to make sure they were on there before this call. Great minds think alike.
Thank you.
We haven't talked about SG200 yet. We will get to that after parties, though.
All right. Awesome.
I like your Star Wars Startup Grind t-shirt there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. You can get these if you attend Startup Grind Global. You can get these. That's the only place you can get them. They're like a limited edition.
So, anyone have questions or thoughts about parties?
I have one question, Christy.
Sure, Carlos.
Well, I'm organizing the first event from this chapter here, okay. and I'm thinking about a fireside chat and mixing with a party. Here in Brazil, we say we never do friends drinking milk, and
you can't make friends drinking milk. I love that.
And I'm thinking to do a mixed event, do a fireside chat. After we gonna make some party.
Yeah.
The venue has this kind of structure to do these two kind of different events in the same night.
That's terrific. Yeah, I mean, our regular monthly events always have a social side to them. And like I said, it's not very common, but you absolutely can slip a little fireside chat into your party if it's really important to you. And sometimes I see that with some of the newer chapters. Like if you just are hosting your second event, it might feel a little premature to host a party because you just don't have that kind of community connection built yet. It's okay if you want to kind of anchor yourself with a fireside chat and add a little extra party flair to it or something, or just host a fireside chat. So in those first few months, it sometimes might feel like it makes more sense to host a fireside chat. Maybe I would recommend then trying the first week of December or something so that you're a little further away from when everyone gets distracted by the holidays. But yeah, that sounds really good. And I think I like Brazil already, so.
Nice, thank you, Christy.
All right, Greg, did you have something?
You actually answered it in the response question, so I got an answer.
Okay. Very good. All right. Anyone else? Hillary?
Is it okay for us to change because for instance, Guyana, we don't have winter and these things. Is it okay for us to get different art assets without winter?
Of course. That's why if you look at the page that I was on there on the help, they're winter and summer are together in the link because we recognize that for half of our people, it's winter, for half of our people, it's summer at the various times of year. So that's why when we put the assets out back in what was June or July, they said winter party or summer party. You could pick which set you want for your area. And so similarly, the ones that I had clicked on before, you can go right in there, right here where it says summer and winter party graphics. And you can see there's a folder that says summer. And so all of these are going to be themed for a summer party. So you could certainly use those coming in December for your party instead of the winter ones if you are in the Southern Hemisphere. So we finally got good at that. As a global organization, it took us a little while to figure that out, but we did eventually realize that we have to take care of both halves of the globe at the same time. So it makes sometimes it sound a little less exciting, like winter party doesn't sound as exciting as holiday party sometimes, but it makes more sense. So,
all right, thanks.
Yes. Any others? Okay. Well then, we'll take a minute to talk about SG200, which was announced on Slack today, and then we will go into any other questions that anyone has on any topic. So get those ready if you have any. So today on Slack, I will pop us over to Slack on my screen here. We announced, where did my Slack go? Here it is. So we announced, I think over on the announcements channel, something called SG200. And I know that most of you weren't here late last year, so this is kind of a new concept to you. But we pick 1 month a year, and this year it's November 2017, where we set a goal to see a certain number of events happen around the world. Now, I know that I've worked very closely with a lot of you, and you know that you have no option other than to host an event every single month, right? But sometimes an event doesn't happen in a month, and so sometimes we don't actually see the same number of events as chapters that we have. So we set a goal. Right now, I think we have about 250, 275 chapters, and our goal is to hit 200 events. Typically and naturally, without a goal set, we'll probably hit about maybe about 150 events in a given month on average. But we really want to push everyone to come together and get focused on creating this value in our community and making their events happen. So for November, we're really on a push to have everyone get excited and host their November event. So all you have to do to participate is host an event in November. So pretty sure I can count on each of you to do that. If not, you'll be hearing from me on email soon. But we also have some kind of fun art assets for you to use as we go through this goal. So the link is over on the help screen, like I had showed you before. But where it will take you is to this spot here, where you can see some square logos for SG200, and with Startup Grind on it, chapter logo that you can edit and put your city name down there if you would like, with a little SG200 sticker. There are Facebook cover images and event page covers. If you want to use those for your event in November, then you can do that to kind of showcase to the world that we are excited that we're putting on 200 events in the month of November. And then, of course, there's the Twitter ones, a banner for the top of your website page, and a newsletter image as well. So we have all kinds of fun things there for you to use to get excited about participating in SG200, and please use the hashtag on your events this month too, so that we can see that happening. Gee, is there anything you would like to add about SG200?
Yeah, some guys are super excited about this. So if you do want to host 2 events in that month, you definitely may do so.
This is true.
Also, if you know of any like a city that's near you that wants to host an event, but they're not part of Startup Grind or something, you know, this is the perfect opportunity to showcase this to them, and we can do an online event in that city that's near you. So just get in contact with Christy, and then just go, listen, is this city over here, I think they need a Startup Grind. I know somebody could maybe run it, but let's see how they feel part of it. And let's do an online event. They don't have to get a venue, you know, they can just join the thing, and we can try and launch it in that city or something. And this way we can try and help you guys get cities up in places that are close to you. But the idea is that it's really a great opportunity to be part of this SG200 initiative, and to get 200 events in 1 month, which is quite a milestone.
Perfect. All right, so host your November events, or I will chase you down. I will hunt you down, people.
And I'd like to add, please add those graphics to your Twitter profile, your Twitter headers, your meetup pages, whatever. If there's graphics that we don't have that you need, please let us know so we can get it created. Okay. The idea is that when you go to any Startup Grind page, put the Facebook of any chapter anywhere in the world, those are the graphics that should be on the top. Okay, thanks, guys.
And you know what? I'm going to actually sidebar here for a second. Some of you may have maybe never met G or know who he is. So G, could you give us a proper introduction of yourself?
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Guillaume. Just call me G. And I've been running the chapter here in Cape Town since 2013. So for the last 4 years, hosting events every single month. I've managed to grow the community here from literally nothing to over 150 to 200 people events every single month. And for the last 2 years, I've been working full-time with headquarters, and now I oversee the global community, and work with you guys to try and help you guys bring cooler events to your cities. Work with Christy, with Dimitris, and Jan in his over Asia Pacific. And we as a community are, obviously trying to grow. We would like to be in 600 chapters next year, by the end of next year. So we've got massive big goals. This is where we rely on you guys to help us. But yeah, this is what I do. Work for HQ to help grow this community.
Very good. Thank you. All right. So, my friends, what else are you thinking about? Is there anything you need from us to better support or run your chapter? Are you running into any challenges that you want to talk about because others might have experienced the same thing? Or do you just have any questions? Aaron, I think raised your hand there. So let's give the floor to Aaron. I'm going to unmute you.
Cool. Hello, everyone. It's Aaron Wheeler from Pasadena chapter.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey.
Hey, Aaron.
So, question. I have one of my main questions is, how am I? Okay, so I have the meetup, and then we also have the regular Startup Grind site.
Yep.
And it's like, how do we merge the emails together?
Sure. That's a good question. So Meetup, as you can imagine, doesn't just pass out everyone's email addresses,
Right.
because that would really be against their terms of, or their agreements with the people that sign up to Meetup. So the way to, first of all, think about Meetup is as kind of a bonus marketing tool. So the fact that your event automatically pushes over to Meetup means that you get that extra exposure for your event, and you don't have to do a darn thing to make it happen.
See, mine's is not pushing over to Meetup.
Okay. Well, send us an email at forward@Startup Grind, and we'll get that fixed for you, because that is a big thing that definitely we would want to fix for you. So, we give you the art assets to make a really beautiful meetup. And as people are kind of cruising around on Meetup looking for events to attend, because that's what Meetup's all about, they're going to come across your chapter. We pay for that every month. We, give you everything that you need to make it look cool and interesting. And then it just sits over there and kind of creates a little collection of a community.
Right.
So you have to kind of just think of it as an additional tool that you get something from, not as something that is an end-all, be-all, completely merged solution.
Right.
So once we get you fixed up, then your events will automatically push over there, and then you'll see a little tickler after it bumps over. So literally within like 5 seconds, it's over there. And then at the top, it says this event has not yet been announced. And so when you go to your Meetup and click on announce this event, an email goes out to all of your people there that says, hey, this event was published. Would you like to attend? And of course, everything on it will say, go to the website to buy your ticket. So, excuse me. So you will see kind of a weird little distorted thing where some people will RSVP yes on Meetup, and that really means nothing, because you still have to get on there and say, hey, run on over to our website and purchase your ticket. Thanks for your help with that. And then you can also choose, some directors will just let that be what they get from Meetup, that kind of automatic thing, and the event pushes going out to more people.
Yeah.
But some people will actually go in there and send newsletters to those people through the Meetup system and whatnot. But we just have to be okay with the fact that we can't really push their information into our system, because that would just be a violation of Meetup.
Okay.
Stuff. So, does that help? Does that make sense of it?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm trying to think. I feel like I have another question, but if someone else needs a question, go ahead.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let me know when you think of it. And definitely I want to get that fixed for you, because it is kind of cool when it does do that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else? You guys are easy, huh?
Who's coming to Global? Who's coming to Startup Grind Global in Feb? 1, 2, Aaron. Gregory's coming. Chris will definitely be there. Brilliant. Carlos,
Yeah.
you don't know? Thinking about it? Okay.
From
Dustin, I
Brazil.
can't see.
Justin, you
Ooh,
think you're
this
going to
is
make it
good.
this year from Pennsylvania?
Yeah, we're working on scheduling to see how well it's going to work. It's quite. My wife keeps saying it's in the middle of the week. Makes
That's
it
true.
tougher, but
Over
we're working on
Valentine's
on the
Day,
other side.
nonetheless.
Yeah, Valentine's Day. That's a tough one. So
And
I
then-
stand in the front with my startup grant every month and I go, all right, guys, this is global conference. You guys need to get there. I mean, this is from South Africa, right? So it's a 32-hour flight to the conference. But don't worry about that. It's on Valentine's Day. And the reason why it's on Valentine's Day is because we know you guys absolutely love entrepreneurship.
Oh, I get it. You love it.
Valentine's Day.
That's a good one. That's a good one, G. I like it.
Or you should buy, or someone to say, okay, buy tickets for your wife and spoil her on this Valentine's Day to come to Startup Grind. I don't know how well it's going to go down, but you can always try.
That'll work. That'll work.
What about you, James, from Santa Clarita? You think you're going to make it?
Oh, I'm definitely going to be there. And I, the two team tickets we have too, I'm going to leverage those via the party if I'm permitted to.
Perfect. Good, good, good. Yeah. Oh, hey, we have Judy over there. Let's give Judy a second to say hi. You can meet another headquarters team member. Hey, Judy. Introduce yourself.
Hey, it's Judy from HQ. I am grinding in marketing right now. So if you guys see anything inconsistent or anything funky, talk to G. Don't talk to me. I'm not here.
Thanks so much. Jeez. So Judy's involved. What do you do? What do you do for HQ, Judy?
So basically, I'm helping G with our global newsletter. We do social media pushes. The very beautiful speaker announcement email that you guys all saw was created by a designer. So I work with her on that as well. So if you guys see any cool images or cool things that you want to see, or hear any buzz around your community, please tag me. I'm Judy at startupgrind.com. I would always love to get new stuff out to the community. Really want to get you guys involved for a global conference. We are pushing out more cool stuff coming up, and definitely I told you already, I wanted to be a YouTuber plus blogger and famous and rich. So definitely need all of your help to get to that point.
Brilliant. So guys, if you ever do, tell us about, actually Judy, you say, because you can say it better, about the YouTube videos. If they've got little codes or snippets from the YouTube videos, if they're able to send it to you.
Yeah, so we know that each local chapter, you guys host amazing events, and some of those contents are super great lessons that all of us should share. So if you know one speaker or a quote or partial a segment within that video that you think would be super awesome to feature, just send them to me. I would love to feature them either on global newsletter or just put them up as a segment on our HQ global YouTube channel, because I think a smaller segment with just a tiny lesson learned will generate a lot of buzz, and it's just so great you're sharing the tips and to be a founder and entrepreneur. So definitely send me. We are looking for blockchain, looking for IoT, self-driving cars. What else is there? Growth hacking. I just saw the video from Tech Talk. It's about being an entrepreneur at age 66. I think that would be really cool. So if you have anyone in your community that is doing something badass like that, we would want to learn. Definitely want to get you guys featured. So if you want to be rich and famous,
Judy will make it happen.
What was the email again? My computer cut out. Sorry.
It's Judy, Judy at startupgrind.com.
Thanks, Judy.
She's also on Slack channel, so you can add her on Slack channel as well.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, I just crashing the party because I heard about Valentine's Day. I'm So we're doing Valentine's like matchmaking.
Very good.
Nice, nice.
Thanks, Judy.
Guys.
All right. Well, we have time for one more question if anyone has anything that they want to do. Okay, yeah, Aaron, so go ahead. I'll unmute you again. Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you go. So, my mic. Okay. Question: how does one become be a part of the panel for, like, one of your directors be part of a panel for global?
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about what you mean by panel. Do you mean?
Well, during global, sometimes you have panels or speaker panels, or about different,
Okay.
Sure. About different
on
things,
stage.
right? On
Anything
stage.
on stage.
So
Okay.
how does one become as a director? How does one able to participate?
Well, I think the first thing I would say is if you go to startupgrind.com, there's a link at the top that says get involved, and the drop down there has a link that says become a speaker. And so there's a quick form that you can fill out on there that you could request to let headquarters know that you are interested in that. Okay. And put together your little business case there that talks about what you have expertise in or what you would be interested in being a part of. And so that, I think, would be the first thing to do, because that puts you in process where Lindsay will see that, Carly will see that, we'll see that, and we'll make sure that the names of our directors are given that definite look over, because that would be important to us to make sure that you guys get a good opportunity to be considered. And so that if there's a match with your expertise and with what we're putting together, that we could see about trying to make that happen.
And then the same part of that question is, how does, because I've had this question, how does our speakers we've invited who are CEOs or founders and that get to be an opportunity, since they've already spoken in our local, they get an opportunity to be part of the global?
Yeah, well, again, honestly, the same process. They can actually go to that website and suggest themselves, or you can fill it out and suggest them. That works just as well. So you can recommend someone else through that tool as well. And if you had an event where you had 200 people show up and everyone was just like on the edge of their seat, excited to hear from this person, we would love to, have someone mention to us, like, go and fill out the form, let us know who that is and what it is that they are, what their company is, and then chase it with an email to us that says, hey, I just submitted this form on this guy, and I think you should know he spoke at my chapter and it went really well. And we'll definitely, make sure that as we are looking at our speakers, that all gets raised to the top to be considered. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to add on to this is that you guys have actually access, all of you have access to that entire speaker list, because whenever anybody fills in that form, it automatically sends it to the hashtag speakers channel in Slack. So if you go to Slack and you go find the channel there called speakers, that speaker bot that's busy filling in all those speakers, that's coming from that form. So as you know, a lot of guys will be coming through there. So if you do put yourself on there, or if you put anybody else on there, just give us a heads up as well, because as you can see, we get a lot of people. And so you just click on that button on the year, it will actually take you to the.
Oh, it will take you to the.
Yeah. It'll take you straight there, and then you can see everybody. And then if you see any of these, now you can see, you can sort and you can filter. So you can sort out for your location, and you can see if there's any. Do a filter. Do a filter rather.
It's a filter. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Where the speaker location is. And you can choose whichever city you want. You can even type in your city's name. But you can see these are all the speakers for what area is this?
Hollywood.
New York City. Yeah, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can see the speaker isn't located in those cities, but they're prepared to act in those cities. So you can either filter according to the location or the speaker location. And then this is how you can find speakers for your chapters, and you can see who's been asked, who would like to speak on global or at a local chapter or whatever. It's all coming through there, where you can just manage it and do what you need to do. And then just give us a heads up if you'd be filling your form for yourself or for Lindsay sees these like hundreds of emails coming through, and sometimes they do miss through the cracks because there's a lot coming through. Cool, thanks.
Perfect. All right. I would definitely have one last question if anyone has anything. Now or never, my friend. No, now or next month, I guess I should say. James?
Yeah, this is James. I got a question.
Sure.
That speaker list you're talking about, that Slack channel where we see speakers added all the time.
Mhm.
Is that just from the main page, or is that as chapters actually book a speaker for their event? Like when I add speakers, I've only added speakers as I'm logging an event. So where does that database at?
It is nowhere. It's within the system of events. So we don't have a public view on a database of those speakers. The one that we're referring to is simply the log of people requesting to speak and the locations that they're interested to speak. So it's meant to be a tool on that end of it, although we have had requests for people that are interested to kind of see who's speaking where, and that's a feature that you can always kind of suggest in our kind of suggestions for improvements to the tool to be able to see a list of speakers from every chapter type of thing. So you can always make the tool suggestion if that's something that's of great value to you. And then as more people come together with that same desire, then that lists the priority of that being developed in the tool.
Got it. Okay.
All right. Yes, go
one.
ahead, Gregory.
You have a European kind of directors thing that you do too, or do you is this just
Good
North
question.
America right now? Sorry.
Yeah, so we have kind of two primary conferences that the HQ team does each year. And so there's the North America one in February, and then there's one in Europe that has been in London that is every June. And so those two are run by HQ. You do, as a chapter director, actually have the ability to put on a full day conference in your area. So that's what you were seeing with Barcelona and Triangle or Raleigh in North Carolina. So when it comes to events type here over on the help screen, and I'm sharing my screen again, you can go here to regional conferences, and there's the terms and application info is here if you want to be able to host a full day conference in your area under the Startup Grind brand. This is kind of what you need to know, how long you need to have been a director for a year, yada, yada. And then there's an application format, an application there that then we review and make sure that you're kind of going down a path that will work. And then there's a whole set of guidelines of how to produce the event as well. So that's what you saw for Barcelona. They had an awesome time there. But of course, anytime there's a Startup Grind major event happening, then you're going to see a cluster of people coming together, and that's always super fun. So
and how do I talk with some of the European chapter directors, because I spent 15 years of my life there? I kind of want to get connected with them also, even though I'm sitting here. I want to,
for sure.
Get
I would
connected
start on
Germany.
Slack if I were you. I mean, they all should be right there on Slack, and you can go to their city page, and if there's a specific city that you want, you can go to the city page, look up the name, and then go to Slack to find them, or just get in Slack and start getting chatty and be like, hey, where are you guys? I want to talk to you.
You
can also join you can also join the SG. Well, that's actually SG Europe, but I think there's actually a Europe channel. Initiatives, we should actually create regional channels that you can chat to the people and just join different channels. Remember, the Slack channel is there for you guys. So if you want to create channels and invite people to join them, please do. It's a community for you guys to chat to everybody. You got access to every single director on there, with the emails, everything that you need.
Great.
In a nice, safe, secure place where you can chat to them and have fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and once you come to one global event, you'll find that you start getting that foundation of knowing most of the different directors. So
yeah, that's great. I don't use it enough, so I'll try using it a lot more. The Slack right now. So I've just been poor at it, but I know I'm going to New York City next week, so I want to hit up.
For sure.
The great thing is to go to startupgrind.com/chapters. That'll give you the list of all the chapters, so you can see where you're going, or maybe cities that you used to live in Europe or something.
Yeah.
And then you look up. There we go. And then you can look up their. Okay. Cheers, Aaron.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. So you can look up a city and then look up the chapter director and then hook them up on Slack directly and just chat to them from there. So
awesome.
That'll
Thanks.
be the best. Cool.
Sorry, I got into that last question. Sorry.
It's all good. We don't mind at all. All right. Well, very good. Well, thanks again, everyone, for sharing your evening with us. And we look forward to seeing you. We will be publishing more events about Global in the next few weeks for sure. We're just nailing down those last details of the hotel arrangements and whatnot. I know I'm getting lots of questions on when you can book, so we should have that all out in the next few weeks, hopefully before our next call. But definitely by the time we have our November call, I'll have all the information for
Actually,
you.
Lindsay, how far are we with those events? With the hotels? It's going good.
Yeah, things are
Almost
good.
nailing it.
We're very close to finalizing our partnership with AC Hotels, and you know, we do a big room block there, so we'll really help with that process and making sure you guys get it great. And then I'm also talking to a few travel partners that may potentially sponsor the conference this year, which is why I want to hold out for everyone booking travel just yet, because we might be able to help out. So pushing hotels will certainly be done really soon. We're just finalizing the last few things, but hoping to also have some discounts with flights and whatnot. So I'll keep you posted.
Cool. That would be awesome.
Awesome. That's really good.
All right.
Cheers, Chris. Cool.
Okay, my friends. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Christy. You've been awesome.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.